Good afternoon. My name is Ivan Garcia, and this is my 2025 Summer Intern Presentation. A little bit about me. My hometown is actually in Clarksville, Georgia. It's a little town in northeast Georgia. I've lived there my whole life, and I recently just moved to Marietta about a year and a half ago to go to Kennesaw State and finish my civil engineering degree. My hobbies include hiking, running, and watching movies. I was given another opportunity this summer to work with Jacobs, whom I've been with for the past year. Jacobs, as a whole, offers end-to-end solutions across a wide range of sectors, which include advanced manufacturing, city and planning, energy, environmental engineering, transportation, and water infrastructure. Their services span from advising and consulting to feasibility studies, planning, design, program management, and lifecycle management. Jacobs is driven by the model challenging today and reinventing tomorrow. This reflects our commitment to solve complex global challenges through innovation, sustainability, and collaboration. And the company itself emphasizes a lot on integrity and safety, sustainability and climate action, diversity and inclusion, and mental health and well-being. Jacobs has committed to achieving net zero greenhouse gas emissions across its value chain by 2040 and maintains carbon neutrality in its operations. This summer specifically, I was able to work under two engineers. The one on the very left is actually the traffic lead for traffic engineering in Atlanta and the South Atlantic area. So that covers Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Alabama, and eventually it will cover also North Carolina and Tennessee. My supervisor, who's in the middle right there, is Tyler Martin. He's a senior traffic engineer. He does a lot of signal operation and maintenance, contracted under the SIGOPS program, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then on the very far right is Par Bolina. He was my supervisor during the fall and the spring before Tyler. He is, I think he had just completed his PE exam, so he's still waiting on that, but he is mainly an ITS designer, which is Intelligent Transportation Systems. He is the one that kind of taught me a lot about what I'm talking about in this presentation later on. So as I said before, my role here at Jacobs, I'm a traffic engineering intern. I've been with the company for about a year and a couple months. I started last May. In case you didn't know what traffic engineering was, it's just a sub-discipline of transportation engineering. To put it in simple words, traffic engineers help to design safe and efficient roads and traffic systems. And as I was saying earlier, Dwayne Tedder, he's actually the lead of the South Atlantic Traffic Group, which a lot of the major projects that we work on, both in-state and out-of-state, and for different cities and municipalities include, but aren't limited to, traffic signal design and infrastructure design, traffic impact studies and traffic analysis, traffic control, safety improvements, intelligent transportation systems or ITS devices, and maintenance of traffic control devices and signal operations. So the two main projects I worked on during this summer include GDOT broadband and SIGOPS. So the GDOT broadband project is a project which aims to install a reliable communication network throughout intelligent transportation systems and connected vehicle infrastructure. The project itself is broken up into 5 different phases, 2 of which are currently under construction and have been designed, and then 3 that are still in the process of bidding. So this summer I worked on the Design Build 2 project. This project spans from Macon to Savannah, so the I-16 stretch, and additionally it spans on 40 miles of interstate in Covington, Georgia, and then 40 miles east of Covington, so a section of I-20. And then the other project, or the other work that I was given throughout this summer, was the SIGOPS program, which is powered by GDOT. GDOT is a major client for Jacobs. We get a lot of work from them. In this specific project itself, the point of it is to monitor and optimize traffic flow to provide a safe and efficient commute for the public. The primary focus is signal operation, signal optimization, and signal operations. So in terms of signal optimization, signal timing is an important one because it gets Georgians to be able to go through corridors of intersections at a green, which reduces the emissions used rather than having them stop and wait at lights for a little too long. We kind of try to kind of make that a bit more efficient just to be able to get a lot amount of people through the corridors. And in terms of signal operations, Jacobs has technicians, traffic engineers that go out into the field. They actually maintain signal cabinets within Midtown, West Metro, East Metro, and then Jacobs actually has two big contracts, which they're in charge of GDOT districts 2 and 5, which is the southeast region of Georgia, including Savannah, Brunswick, parts of Augusta, just to name a few spots, and also Macon, and pretty much anywhere between Macon and Savannah. That's mainly Jacobs who attends to those traffic lights, traffic signals, signal cabinets, ITS devices. Here's an example of one of the projects that the GDOT project that I was out to go and explore. We actually had to measure the poles which were going to be installed for this project, specifically for CCTV cameras and roadside units. As you can see on the picture on the right, there in the red where he's pointing at right under his finger, there's actually a stake in the ground for a pole. And like I said, these poles will have roadside units, CCTV cameras, traffic light, like lighting. It will have those, and then of course the fiber optic cable that runs and powers everything, which is really the main goal of the project, is to get fiber optic cable for communications throughout the entire state of Georgia, along its interstates, of course, the major interstates. And then in the picture on the left, I actually drove down to East Dublin on I-16, and we measured a clear zone. So a clear zone is pretty much just an obstruction-free roadside area for safety. It allows drivers to recover if they ever leave the road, and the reason why we went out there is because when designing these poles, you don't really want them to be placed inside of these areas, because if a car or a truck were to hit those poles, it would critically impact their safety along with the safety of everybody else on the roadway. So it's mainly for safety, which is why we had to go out there, and we had to do this in a day. So if we would have waited any longer, construction would have began, and they would have built those poles inside the clear zone, which is really not good at all. So that was one project we did. So this right here is actually a GDOT plan sheet. These GDOT plan sheets are very extensive. This one specifically is for ITS design, which is what a lot of the traffic engineers at Jacobs do, is the design of these kind of fiber optic cables and power service meters. You can see, I mean, if you zoom in, I can't zoom in a little bit, but if you were to zoom in a little bit, you could see kind of the pull boxes for electrical pull boxes. You'd see some cabinets. You would see just a lot of like poles, detectors like loop detectors. So that's just a plan series sheet itself, kind of like it's a legend really. And then this second slide right here, this is actually a plan sheet that we worked on, or that I've been working on the past year. I think I've done quite a few of these plan sheets. The project itself is broken up into segments, and this segment right here is part of a specific package. There's 3 packages to this project, and each package has about 3 to 4 segments. I think there was a total of 12 segments altogether, and I was able to work on package 1, 2, and 3. They kind of thrusted me into this last summer just because it was a new project for them. They had just won it. So a lot of the design was actually done on OpenRoads Designer. At one point it was MicroStation, but GDOT is kind of transitioning to a more user-friendly and more advanced CAD, which is the OpenRoads. Um, in terms of being user-friendly, it is a lot more user-friendly. Similar kind of to AutoCAD, they have a similar interface. So kind of learning this, it wasn't too bad just because I've already had taken AutoCAD classes at Kennesaw, and in my previous college I had another AutoCAD class, so the transition to OpenRoads itself wasn't bad at all. So a lot of this is just line work, comments, call outs, and making sure everything in the legend and the scaling is right. So I did this for 3 packages, like I said. I think I might have done, out of the thousands of sheets that, I think it was like 1,300 sheets, I think I might have done like 200 myself, maybe. Maybe a little less than that. And then another project that I worked on for the SIGOPS was MaxView, which MaxView is an advanced central traffic management system used to monitor and control traffic signals in ITS. I pretty much was using MaxView and ATSPM, which is an automated traffic signal performance measure. It kind of just has historical performance data at intersections. So when doing signal timing, you kind of have to look at ATSPM in order to kind of see what you have to change in MaxView, and making sure the detectors work at traffic lights, the cameras work at traffic lights, the detection, like microwave detection, works at traffic lights. So I did a lot of making sure everything was working at every intersection. And here's what I was assigned. I was assigned this Alpharetta's signalized intersections and parts of Milton. I had to pretty much go in and check whether or not it was working. And then at the bottom there, that's just a little screenshot that I took of one of the intersections that has a detector cut into the actual road, called a loop detector. It kind of works using electromagnetic wires, which sense the car above you, which then sends a signal to the signal cabinet, and then the signal cabinet then sends it to the light to change the light on a green. And then what I've learned so far this summer, I think I've learned a lot more about the design process for ITS devices. Like I said, I've been working on this project for about a year and a half, so I've become very familiar with OpenRoads, very familiar with certain terms, certain GDOT standards in terms of traffic cable, fiber optic cable, and just the plan sheets themselves. I had never really made a plan sheet before this, but it was definitely a good learning experience. I've learned more about traffic signal design and timing, traffic signal operations, a lot more CAD, like I said. Project documentation, I did a few cost estimates, so it was a little challenging, but I think learning project documentation is very important, especially once I graduate. They've already spoken to me about offering me a full-time position, and I'm sure eventually I'll have to do a lot more project documentation in the future. And then, of course, just exposure to other disciplines and projects within Jacobs. A lot of it kind of does translate back to what I've been learning in school. Especially this summer, I'm taking environmental engineering. So on the left there, we actually went to a wastewater treatment center, and I got to see the whole water treatment process, which is just incredible. It's one thing learning about it in the classroom, and it's another thing to actually go and see. And these are just a bunch of the other interns there. I'm one of 2 traffic engineering interns there, and everybody else is water and wastewater engineers in site civil design. So they kind of had a little bit more background on that. So yeah, and then on the right there, we went to a MARTA bus rapid transit project that was being built. The contractor was Archer Western, and yeah, that was pretty much my summer in a nutshell. I mean, I learned a lot. In terms of traffic engineering, I learned a lot. And I taking transportation last semester, I can see how a lot of the things that I learned there did help me, especially in terms of like the traffic labs with Professor Gautam Mystery, and of course Professor Parth. I mean, thanks to them, I was able to understand a lot more this summer than I did last summer because I hadn't taken those classes. So yeah, and